This is the Water Quality Association podcast.
We're constantly working to make the sessions as engaging as possible, not just straight up lecture, but also some other opportunities to improve interaction, improve networking.
That's WQA's Director of Professional Certification and Training, Dr. Tanya Lubner, talking about the education that will be offered at the WQA Convention and Expo later this month. And welcome to the podcast from the Water Quality Association, the leading voice of the residential, commercial, and industrial water treatment community. I'm Wes Bleed. Find us at WQA.org. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast and share the podcast with someone on your team. And remember, you can watch our podcasts on YouTube. This episode looks at convention education. Everything you need to know. This year's program includes a wide range of sessions, from artificial intelligence and business strategy to deep technical training and interactive roundtables. To help us preview what's coming, we're joined by Tanya Lubner, PhD and WQA's Professional Certification and Training Director, and John McCartan, WQA's Professional Development Manager. Plus, we'll have our WQA tip. It's all coming up on the Water Quality Association podcast. Hey, if you're wondering what the convention education is all about at this year's WQA Convention and Expo in Miami Beach, April 28th through the 30th, it's a lot. How about that? That's a formal education term that I've learned for extensive education opportunities. And with us today to talk about the education lineup, all of the different sections and classes are WQA's Director of Certification and Training, Dr. Tanya Lubner, and John McCartan, WQA's Training and Program Manager. Welcome to you both. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Wes.
Thanks, Wes.
Hey, let's start with the 30,000-foot level WQA Convention and Expo. John, let me toss it over to you. What will the education lineup look like in general? What will they see?
It's a blend of a few different things. One, you're going to get industry updates, seeing the latest and greatest from throughout the industry. Two, you're going to get actionable items to bring back to your business, help grow your dealership. And three, you're going to have just great industry experts talk to you about technical presentations, technical topics, and all sorts of great things from the industry.
Tanya, sounds great. What's it like from you've been doing this for many years now. So when you think of education, obviously, this is the place to be for water treatment education, right?
Absolutely. And we always have a great mix between the business and the technical sessions, something for those that are just starting out, and then the more experienced. We have updated research that I think people will find interesting. And we also, we're constantly working to make the sessions as engaging as possible, not just straight up lecture, but also some other opportunities to improve interaction, improve networking.
Yeah, and some of the networking can take place right in with the person next to you at one of the sessions, right? You might just sit next to somebody who's got a good point and you exchange information afterwards. So it's a really great opportunity. One of the topics I know is important and on the minds of a lot of people is AI, artificial intelligence. And I just want to know kind of how that's going to be featured. What are you focusing on? And just, where that education session will go.
Yeah, one of the big highlights of our business operations presentations this year is our AI panel. We've got four great industry experts. Data Dale is going to moderate this one for us. She's presented on AI at our conference and at other conferences in the past. And we've got experts, some that have AI companies, some that are just using AI in their dealership already, and a few different focuses of that. We're going to have some previews of what's coming down as far as AI in the industry, And then the big one is we're going to actually have someone there to give you prompts, give you something really tangible and actionable to bring back to your business so you can start using this right away rather than having to wait years for the technology to hit.
So do you have somebody in mind, a kind of a profile of a person who would take advantage of the AI session itself? And then if you want to expand on that to any of the other sessions?
Yeah, really for the AI session, our biggest focus are water treatment dealers. We're going to have a lot of great content that's specific to dealers. Manufacturers, OEMs, of course, are welcome to attend, but the AI panel is really going to be dealer focused. We do have a lot of great business topics for manufacturers and OEMs, including one on the supply chain. But that AI one, we're really hoping that dealers of any size, from your big multi dealerships to your small 2-person mom and pop shops, should be able to take something away from it.
And actually, AI is really the topic of the day. There's, in addition to the panel that John was discussing, there's going to be a general session on one of the days as well that's going to look at those that are already using AI in their businesses and provide some examples.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a topic that is going to keep giving, I think, for many years to come. Tanya, while we're still with you, I know you're focused primarily on the technical education. And that is always an opportunity for somebody who's has been certified to get some of those additional CPUs or
CPDs. Yeah.
CPDs. Yeah. Sorry. Mm-hmm. The CPDs, the credits to make sure that they can keep that certification active. Can you tell us about those sessions?
Absolutely. So with the technical lineup, as I mentioned, we try to make sure that we have something for those that are just starting out, and they're couple of great sessions for that. I don't think you can get any better with the name for the new people than a session that says, I'm new. How do I talk about PFAS? So Mike Heatwall is coming back to do that one. He's a fun presenter to listen to.
And a past podcast guest.
And Mike is wonderful, very engaging, great amount of experience that he's always willing to share. We have UV sessions. We have lots of UV sessions in this one, in this year. One is absolutely targeted toward someone who really hasn't worked with UV before, but is interested. We have a discussion panel on what's going on with LEDs versus the mercury lamps. So we're going to take a look at the state of that industry. We also have, and I'm really excited about this one, we have a research report where the researcher used UV to do a blind study to look at what is the prevalence of pathogens and viruses in well water. And it's a little different than what we expect. So I think that would be good as well. And then we have a number of other topics that we're going to cover. And I mentioned this push toward trying to get more engaging sessions. We have a number of roundtables that I think people will enjoy. It's everything from what are best practices when it comes to injection pumps and maintaining those injection pumps, to how do you right size commercial softeners. So, and we're also going to have a session on referral relations. Now, this is more business than technical, but the idea is that if you are working with plumbers, if you're working with well drillers, or if we have plumbers and well drillers at the show, and we have invited quite a few of them, to come and just interact and discuss what are the best practices for referrals, for how to find partners and how to build those relationships.
Fantastic. You know, Tanya, you touched on this a second ago, and I want to just pick up on it. And John, if you want to jump in as well, the idea of I'm new. What do I do? Is there at sort of that entry level track that somebody can get going with some of the 101 type classes as well?
We do have that entry level track. It's going to have that PFAS course I mentioned, the UV one. We have one on the perennial favorite, what to do about that odor coming out of the water heater. And then we have several business sessions in that track as well.
Great. And the place to go, John, right now is the website, right? To look at the classes or the courses that are offered, the tracks that are offered, and then ultimately the app that you can download. Tell us about all of that.
Absolutely. So right now, you can browse the schedule. Full schedule is up on the website. And as you mentioned, Wes, you can sort it by track. So if you are someone that's new to the industry, you can just select the introductory level and look at the presentations that are in that track. You can also look at the intermediate or by topic. We've got several different tags, we're calling them this time around. We've got commercial industrial, disinfection, groundwater, small public systems, and so on. So lots of ways to sort the schedule, a lot of ways to view the schedule. And then as we get closer to the event, we're going to be introducing the convention app, and that is going to be your on-site guide to everything. It's going to be how you're going to navigate the show floor, how you're going to favorite your and put together your schedule of education sessions. It's how you'll eventually enter your code to get credits for attending those sessions. It's really your one-stop shop for everything convention will be our app.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Tanya about earning those CE credits. How does that work, Tanya?
So with the CPD credits, we are going to be sending out information as we get closer, but more than likely what you need to do is you need to favorite the session and before the session starts. Is that right, John?
Yep. So don't wait to build your schedule.
Yeah. So you need to favorite your session before it starts, and then that will give you the opportunity to complete a little form at the end where you would put in the code. So the moderators will announce the code for the sessions.
Yeah. Again, this is important because anybody who's got a certification needs to keep that active. And so this is one really solid way to do just that. And there's the other thing I want to make sure people have clear in their minds. There's no conflict with the trade show, right? We can go to the education, we can go to the trade show. The two are not going to conflict.
That's right. We absolutely make sure that the education schedule doesn't conflict because we feel that you can get quite a bit of education on the show floor by taking the time to go and talk with the exhibitors. They typically, quite a few of them, bring their experienced technical support staff who can really have an in-depth one-on-one conversation with you about the products, about the applications. And we feel so strongly that you can get education on the show floor just through these conversations that we give you credit for attending the show floor. So you can earn additional continuing education credit by being on the floor.
And what can one gain by stopping at WQA Central, which is where the main staff and expertise from WQA will be?
Yep. So you can talk to Tanya or I, but more interestingly, you can actually come and speak to the instructors for WQA's instructor-led training. We're going to be having office hours for the second time in a row. It's a great opportunity if you have any questions about our training, our certification program, to stop by, meet with the instructors, see what you think of the courses, and you can even sign up right in the booth.
Excellent. If you have heard about instructor-led training, you've been curious about it, have not taken advantage of it, this would be a terrific time to really learn the details. All right, again, kind of going back to that newcomer or somebody who hasn't been involved in convention for a few years, they've taken some time off, whatever, there's been conflict, and they're getting back into it. Any particular guidance that you might offer, either Tanya or John, in terms of how they should approach attending these sessions?
I would say definitely look at the schedule beforehand and see what you'd like to go to. And then when you're in these sessions, Wes, as you pointed out at the beginning, it's a great opportunity to strike up a conversation with the person next to you, especially as you filter out into the hallway for the 15-minute break that's in between the sessions. You could turn to your neighbor and say, so what'd you think of that? And start the conversation that way. Also, if you want to chat with the presenters, they are always happy to answer questions. In fact, what we usually see is there will be several people who go right up to the front to talk to the presenter after the session and get more information that way.
Well, thank you both so much. We appreciate everything you have done to create these sessions, to get the sessions ready, to get the instructors ready. I know they're primed and ready to go. This is always a big thing for them. Many of our presenters are industry experts. They're members of WQA in many cases, right?
Most of the presenters are, yes.
So it's great to hear from the very people who are on the front lines on a day-to-day basis, who know the stuff so well, inside and out, and can share their expertise. So take advantage of it. If you have yet to register, WQA.org/convention. Get all the details. Take a look at that education schedule. See what the lineup is, and then, of course, get signed up and book your hotel. It is not too late. So, Tanya, John, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you, Wes.
Great to be here, Wes.
And now our WQA tip. The WQA Convention and Expo is coming up April 28th through the 30th in Miami Beach. So it's time to get registered. But hurry, prices increase starting April 25th. And visit the WQA Convention website, wqa.org/convention, to download our social media toolkit. Graphics and messaging are all ready for you to cut and paste onto your social media accounts. Learn more and register at wqa.org/convention. Thanks for joining us for the Water Quality Association podcast. Learn more about water and water filtration at our consumer website, betterwatertoday.org. And learn more about professional certification, the Gold Seal Product Certification Program, and how you can become a member at wqa.org.